afternoon, race fans. Welcome here as we get set for our 23rd race of the season for the Pizza Hut X Series, race number 3 for the Pizza Hut X Series chase for the championship. Today, it's an elimination race. We started out our chase with 12 championship hopefuls. We are going to whittle it down to 8. We already know who one of the 8 will be. Colby Jackson, who went to victory lane at Chicagoland 2 weeks ago. That locked him into the next round of the chase. Only 7 spots remain. They're going to be filled in here today. 20 laps of racing at Indianapolis. Highest starting chaser rolling off from the 5th position, and that's Elijah Gilbert. Very interesting because Elijah Gilbert comes into this race 10th in the point standings, and according to my calculations, he is 8 points behind that cut line of 8th in the standings. So he needs a good run here today. He actually had a good run in the Hershey's Cup Series non-charter event here yesterday when he came away with a top 10 finish. So we'll see what he does here today in the 98 car. The rest of the field, where they look like, well, Colby Jackson is already locked into the next round of the chase, and he comes in as the points leader over the other 11 drivers. J Deaver comes into this race, currently situated a total of 34 points ahead of that cut line, so he's in pretty good shape. He also had a top 10 run in the Hershey's Cup Series non-charter race here yesterday. Jesse Turner, he is 3rd in the point standings. He is 29 points ahead of that cut line. Eli Bright is tied with Charlie Buxton for 4th. They both come in 18 points over that cut line, and we'll give you the rest in just a minute. For now, we're going to go down trackside, give you the most famous words in motorsports, and then we'll fill you in on the other drivers.
Drivers, start your engines.
So we finished off with Eli Bright and Charlie Buxton. 8th Garcia comes in 6th in points, a total of 16 points ahead of that cut line. Jordan Lopez is 7th in the stands. He's only 5 points ahead of the cut line coming to this race. And on that cut line spot, 8th in the stands, is James Shelly. The drivers behind him, you've got Joshua Osborne. He's 9th in points. He is only 4 points back from James Shelly. We already mentioned Elijah Gilbert, 10th in the points. He's only 8 points behind Shelly. Only 9 points behind Shelly is Christian Merrick Jr. He's 11th in points. And James Qualls, he's a bit farther back. He's 12th of the 12 chase drivers coming in this race. He is a total of 16 points behind James Shelly. However, keep in mind it's 20 laps of racing and we have stage points here today. We're going to have stage points, and we're going to be having it be the 3 stages being completion of lap 7, the completion of lap 14, and the completion of lap 20. So 7, 7, and 6 here today. Keep in mind that there are another 30 drivers in this field. They want to go to victory lane. They don't care about the chase drivers. So they're going to be having their own agenda. And also keep in mind, we had a 20-lap race here yesterday for the Hershey's Cup Series non-charter series. 3 cautions. And out of the original 42 cars that started that race, only 29 cars finished. So a wreck here today could end the championship hopes of any one of the 12 drivers, well, any one of the 11 drivers that are not yet locked into the next round. I got to remember to exclude the 33 car of Colby Jackson because he is locked into the round of the Elite 8. Julio Cesar, Pichu London, then Jonathan Zoerlein, Nicholas Romero, the top 4 for the start of this race, all looking still for their first wins of the season. See what we're going to be in for here today as they'll lead them down. Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Chevy. Green flag is out. We're underway at Indianapolis. Get Elijah Gilbert getting aggressive. He's going to go 3 wide already there for that 3rd position underneath Jonathan Zoerlein and Nicholas Romero. And his teammate, Benny Watson and Ralph Mason, they're going to follow on that inside line. Oh, trouble in the back! Already, 1 car way up in the air. Ace Garcia and Michael Haas are involved. 1 car went up in the air. It might have been Eli Bright. I couldn't tell through the smoke, but a big wreck already out of turn number 2, and something tells me it's going to have chase implications. Gilbert to the front. He'll get by Julio Cesar. Pichu London throws the crossover move. And what an alliance there by Backmarker Motorsports to push Elijah Gilbert out in front. And Gilbert will lead us to our first caution of the day. That did not take long. and I'm looking to try and find chase drivers that got through. Gilbert out in front obviously got through. It looks like Christian Merrick Jr. got through. J Shelly also made it through, but with the exception of those three, I have no idea if any other chasers were able to get through. There could have been quite a stack up, and there you see the skid marks. First car I saw got out of shape was the 9 of A Garcia, who came into this race 6th in the point stands. He was collected with M Haas, and I saw a car bounce up in the air. I only saw the top roof, and it looked like it was the orange roof of Eli Bright, but like I said, it was too filled with smoke in the area to be able to tell. We'll find out if officially that was the case in just a moment. Looks like Eli Bright's still running there. I saw his car just moments ago, so maybe it wasn't him. There is M Haas. The Aris Toyota Camry involved. J Richardson. Maybe it was Richardson I saw that got up in the air. And it looks like everybody else back here, maybe we only had about 3 cars involved in that. Well, a little bit of damage it looks like there on, oh wow, actually more than a little bit of damage on Jacob Rose. Maybe some damage there on the front, right front especially, of Joseph Romero. And pit stops. There's A Garcia. The car I saw get out of shape first. He looks, well, no, he does have quite a bit of right side damage and some front end damage, so we'll see if he's going to be able to continue. Looks like maybe a little bit of rear end damage as well on the 44 of Nick Johnson. Or was that, or that might have been Noah Pontzer actually. The 28 car. We're following Ace Garcia purposely to just see if they're going to repair that race car. Oh no! Kyle Thomas exiting his pit stall, getting into Ace Garcia's 9. They're still going to try and repair that car. So Ace Garcia still trying to keep his championship hopes alive. Let's take a look and see what brought out this first caution. Alright, let's take a look here. The incident taking place just off turn 2, heading down to the long back straightaway. They were 3 wide up ahead. They didn't wreck. Oh, but they were 3 wide here. Okay, this is what happened. Ace Garcia trying to shoot up the middle. M Haas. Looks like the 19 was the car that basically started the wreck. He didn't hold his line. He slid up. And yep, it was the 6 that got up in the air that I saw the roof of. I thought it was an orange roof, but it was actually a red roof. And there's W Brummer getting involved there in the 0. And everybody is, the track just gets wadded up. Oh, I think, oh wow, that's K Lynch back there getting jacked up. I think Colby Jackson got involved. J Qualls just getting by on the outside line there. Jesse Turner, I think, got a piece of that wreck. Oh, someone else gave a shot right there to the 19. Charlie Buxton's back in that. John Gilbert, Nick Johnson, Chris Dollerton. Joshua Osborne was back behind that, as was last week's winner, Matthew Daleo, Daniel Voiles as well. You can see some damage there on the front of Jesse Turner. Tony Green. Quite a bit of damage on the 85. Whoa, Paul Minnick just getting through. Carson Gum just getting through. I think Stuart Gratton got through okay. And I think Matt McIntire just came to a dead stop to avoid getting involved in the wreck. So for the most part, the only car that really got extensive damage as far as a chase driver would have been the car that was involved in the initial start of that wreck, Ace Garcia. A couple of drivers with question marks that sustained some damage, like Jesse Turner, Colby Jackson, although he's already locked into the next round. Joshua Osborne, kind of a question mark as well. We'll have to see if they continue. We got to find out what the effects of this first wreck was, but I don't think they're quite as bad as they could have been with an early caution here at Indy. Well, Elijah Gilbert's team gets it done on pit road. He came in first, comes out first, and obviously you know what the goal of that 98 team is. They want to be able to win the first stage, get those 10 valuable bonus points, work their way back up into the top 8. Problems for Pichu London, who was running in third. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, something's wrong with that car. Can't tell. Is he under power? Yeah, he's under power, but maybe something electrical is wrong with his car. That's a tough break. He was up in third place. So Elijah Gilbert out in front. And that'll be Julio Cesar. Then Jonathan Zoerlein will move up to third. Then Benny Watson, Ralph Mason, Kyle Thomas, James Shelly, Cole Deaver, Jordan Lopes. That'd be 9th. And Christian Merrick Jr. would restart in 10th. So that would make 5 chasers restarting them up inside the top 10 here for this restart. 4 drivers out of the race. None of them are chasers, importantly. Jacob Rose, his teammate Michael Haas, both out of the race, along with James Richardson and Tony Green. Worth mentioning, though, you see some chasers back there. Joshua Osborne, 8th, Garcia, 36th and 37th. So they need to work their way up back through the field. Osborne came into this race outside the top 8. 8th, Garcia just ahead of the cut line in 6th. Green flag back out on lap number 6. And here comes Julio Cesar to the inside of Elijah Gilbert. And they're all going to freight train the chaser. Elijah Gilbert. Cesar goes to the point. Zoerlein moves to 2nd. Benny Watson now up to 3rd, the defending champion, soon to be ex-champion of this series. But he's still looking for his first win of the year in his 2nd full-time season. He'll go to the inside on Zoerlein. Now the highest running chase driver is James Shelly in the 16. He's now in the 5th spot, looking for 4th under Kyle Thomas. And what a great run there for Ralph Mason, running out the rest of the season in that 99 car, replacing Seth Cole for the remainder of the year. Now, I actually looked at Ralph Mason in the races that he's replaced Seth Cole with. He's only made 4 starts this season, but an average finish of 26th, which is actually better than a number of other drivers who have run the entire season. It's better than Nick Johnson, Paul Minnick, Matt Haas, or Michael Haas rather, who have all run the 22 races so far this year. Shelly right now in 4th, Gilbert back in 6th, and how about 8th place? Cole Deaver, talked about him having a good run here in the Hershey's Cup Series non-charter race yesterday. Came in 2nd in the point stands, is exactly what he needs to do. And how about James Qualls? James Qualls came in 12th of the 12 chase drivers. Needed a good run here today. Well, he's having it. Now trying to crack into the top 10. Trying to get to the inside of Nicholas Romero. And that was the completion of the first stage right there. And Qualls was able to get a bonus point, as was Cole Deaver, Elijah Gilbert, and James Shelly. So 4 chasers finishing in the top 10 here for this stage. And here comes Qualls now to the inside on Cole Deaver. Meanwhile, back up front, Jonathan Zoerlein moved out of line, and we may have a battle for the lead here. Benny Watson all over the back bumper of Julio Cesar, but here comes Shelly now to the bottom for the 2nd position. And Ralph Mason thought about sticking it down there. Wow, we nearly had all 3 of the back marker motorsports cars wrecked, with Mason, Gilbert, and Watson just there through turns 3 and 4. Julio Cesar looking for his first win of his Pizza Hut X Series career. The number 87 team looking for their 2nd Pizza Hut X Series win overall. They went to victory lane last season with Joseph Romero behind the wheel at the road course of Infinium. It's been a long time since that team been to victory lane. Here comes Shelly now to the inside for the race lead. That 16 car is wound up and ready to go. You think back a whole season ago when Cody Hagan drove the 16 car. That team finished dead last in the point standings. Now they're in the chase, and they got a chance to move on to the Elite 8. Shelly showing the way, with Cesar in 2nd, and then in the back marker motorsports train, 3rd, 4th, 5th, Watson, Mason, and Gilbert. Kyle Thomas right there in 6th. Zoerlein still hanging tough in 7th, and there is James Qualls. Don't count him out. James Qualls, you put a driver in a desperate position where they need a good run, and a lot of times they will rise to the occasion or wreck trying, and that was nearly the case right there as he nearly got into the left rear quarter panel. He might have gotten into the left rear of Elijah Gilbert, trying to take away what I believe would be the 7th position. And now Benny Watson's going to move Julio Cesar up the track. Oh, I don't like this. Woo, they were almost 3 wide there with Romero and Qualls and Gilbert. That was close. They're 3 wide up here with Zoerlein, Thomas, and Cesar down the front straightaway for 4th place. Racing hard, but racing clean. Oh, trouble! There goes Kyle Thomas! Spun off the nose of Julio Cesar. Caution will wave. Hopefully he gets it out of the way of everybody as he gets it refired, and he will. But we did cross the line, so we are racing back to the start-finish line. So we should jump back up towards the front. Shelly back to the point, and this is big for Shelly, because if Shelly leads coming back to the caution, he may lead at the end of our completion of our second stage, which would be 10 valuable points towards the chase. And remember, Shelly came into this race in that critical 8th position in the points. Battle for second between the teammates, the 8 and the 99, and it looks like Benny Watson will win out. But boy, we dodged another one here at Indy. 2-car incident there involving Kyle Thomas and Julio Cesar after a 3-wide battle down the front straightaway came into turn number 1, and James Shelly will lead us under this yellow flag, and we will have less than 10 to go when we get back green. We just got by the halfway point. So dodging one here for sure. And take a look at the drivers now up here in the mix. I mean, we talked about Shelly, Gilbert, and Qualls, but you look a little bit further back, you've got Colby Jackson up here in the mix, Eli Bright's up there, and I think I might have seen a couple of other chasers back there, Cole Deaver, and I thought I saw, yes I did, Jordan Lopez in the 51, Christian Merrick Jr. not too far back. All these drivers realizing this is their last chance to get into the Elite 8. So Shelly leads under caution. Let's take a look and see what happened between Cesar, Zoerlein, and Kyle Thomas down in turn number 1. With the hard racing that was going on, I'm actually really surprised that we got away with such a minimal wreck and in the spot of the track that it took place. Watch here, they're 3 wide, and I think Kyle Thomas moves up just the least little bit into Julio Cesar. He might have had a little bit of help from Zoerlein, but it doesn't look like the 17 made contact with the 48. And Cesar couldn't go anywhere. He was already basically up against that outside wall, so Kyle Thomas just trying to either get the side draft or try and get a little bit better entry into 1. He moved up to try and get some room from Julio Cesar, who couldn't give him any, and that's what brought out the caution. But fortunately, Kyle Thomas able to keep the car up high when he refired. Everybody stays low to avoid, and we got away with a 2-car incident here, and what, quite honestly, we should have had a couple of multi-car wrecks even before that point. And we will go back green with 5 laps to go, and as you notice, they just crossed the line the last time by completing the second stage, and these are your stage points. James Shelly will win the second stage, so 10 valuable bonus points, and I think we can say at this point that locks him into the next round of the chase for the championship. However, still a ways to go, and a DNF could take him out of the picture even with those 10 stage points. Other chase drivers that are going to get stage points here as well: Elijah Gilbert, James Qualls, Colby Jackson, and Eli Bright. Kyle Thomas will restart in 30th. He's still running, but one driver whose chase hopes could be over. That is the 39 of Jesse Turner. He and his teammate Alexander Rowe finished 37th and 38th today. Both had mechanical problems during that last green flag run. Camshaft issue for Turner, a header problem for Alexander Rowe. They are both out of the race, and that could be it for the hopes of Jesse Turner moving on to the next round of the chase for the championship. Turner coming into this race was a total of 29 points ahead of James Shelly. We'll have to see if that gap was enough to be able to move him into the Elite 8. 5 laps to go. Hopefully we'll finish it under green. We had a great green flag run there, that last run. Maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to make it to the checkered flag without that yellow flag rearing its ugly head, because if it comes out, I have a feeling the race would end under caution. Shelly trying to hold off the former champion, Benny Watson. Green flag back in the air once again here at Indy. Qualls to the inside, trying to be the second highest running chaser. That's for 5th place off of Elijah Gilbert. And Gilbert's going to get freight trained. He's now going to lose a spot to Nicholas Romero. But what are they going to do up front here? Watson with his teammate Ralph Mason in tow. Jonathan Zoerlein. I think there may not be any love lost between Shelly and Zoerlein. Think back to when Shelly wasn't willing to help Zoerlein at Kentucky to make it into the chase and win that race. Mason now to the inside of his teammate for 2nd. Zoerlein will move to 3rd, and here comes the 27 of James Qualls. He's a man on a mission, and that Chevrolet is fast. How about that 88 of Wade Brummer up there? I'm sorry, Ryan Brommer, I should say. In the 8th position, great run for him. We may not have seen the last of him. He could fight his way up to the front here in the closing stages. They're wadded up for 3rd. That's the best battle right now as Ralph Mason tries to reel in James Shelly. Zoerlein trying to hang on, hold off the Chevrolets of Qualls, Romero, and Gilbert. Colby Jackson didn't need a good run today. He was locked into the round of 8 anyway, but he's up in the top 10. A great run for that 33 team. Ooh, look at this. Qualls looks low. Romero looks low on Qualls, and they all still remain single file through turn 4. Shelly just trying to hang on, look for his 2nd win of the season. He's got to make it around 3 more times. Here comes Qualls to the inside for 3rd off of Zoerlein. Woo! Qualls using up a lot of real estate there through turn 1. Nearly slid up into Zoerlein, but he'll hang on, take 3rd. Romero follows him to 4th. Here comes Gilbert now, looking for 5th off of Jonathan Zoerlein. Chasers, 3 of them in the top 5. Qualls trying to reel in Ralph Mason. Went a little low on that entry. That may cost him on his exit. Romero gets a nice run through the exit of the corner, and he's on the back bumper of Qualls for 3rd, going through turn number 4. Meanwhile, Gilbert still side by side with Zoerlein. If these two continue to battle, that's going to allow the top 4 to break away and settle it amongst themselves here for the final 2 laps. Zoerlein wins out on the high side. He'll keep the 5th position. Caution! Oh, the race is over! No! Oh, I was hoping we'd get back to the checkers. Man, I don't know what happened, but did they have to wave the yellow? We were at 2 to go. We just had to get around 1 more time, and we'd have raced back to the checkered flag no matter what. But one guy that's awfully happy that we didn't is James Shelly, because that means he'll be able to run the final lap without having to defend the race lead, and now with us knowing that it's going to end at a caution, the race win. So James Shelly becomes the 2nd chaser to win in our first 3 chase races, and he with the win automatically moves into the next round of the chase for the championship, where I think he would have been anyway because of the stage points he got today, even if he finished 2nd. Oh wow, looks like we had a pretty big wreck there through turn 4. Okay, yeah, based off the skid marks, NNSCRA officials made the right choice throwing the caution. I was going to say, if it was just a single car spin, why would you throw the yellow flag? But looks like we had a little bit more than that. And who knows, it may have involved some chase drivers. But right now, I mean, there's a lot of question marks in my mind based on where some chase drivers are running right now. You got Shelly, he's locked into the next round now, but where's Qualls in all this, finishing 3rd? Elijah Gilbert finishing 6th. White flag was just displayed for James Shelly. We're going to quickly try and get a replay and then come back for the checkers. Don't go anywhere. Here it was. It was actually pretty close towards the rear of the pack, but 3 wide. Ace Garcia trying to get everything he could, every position possible. Goes to the inside on the 4 of Carson Gum, hooks him in the left rear, and then Carson Gum comes back up the track. He's going to clobber Wade Brummer in the 0, his teammate. Oh my goodness, what a shot from John Gilbert. That flips the 0 into the air, the 4 flips into the air. And then we had another incident further up. Looks like involving Pichu London and John Gilbert. Oh yeah, after the contact with the 22 into the 0, Pichu London nowhere to go. London having to make that unscheduled pit stop, finishing off the lead lap, and it looks like he isn't even going to be able to finish the race. Watch this, those 2 cars taking a shot, and then, oh, nowhere for London to go in the 90. It's getting down to crunch time, and everybody was making moves, whether it was at the front or the rear of the field. And that's what brought the caution out. Yeah, 2 cars airborne. Yeah, good job, NNSCRA, throwing that yellow flag. Definitely well needed. And James Shelly certainly won't be upset about it either, as he's going to take the checkers. Let's go back now to live action. And we missed the checkered flag, but that's okay. We knew it was going to be James Shelly taking the win, and indeed he does. Over Ralph Mason, best finish of his career so far this season in 2nd place. James Qualls will bring it home in third. Was it enough to move him into the Elite Eight? We'll have to see. Nicholas Romero and Jonathan Zoerlein finishing out with the top 5, but Shelly with the win, his second of the season, will definitely move on to the Elite Eight. And we are now going to find out what the rest of the finishing results were. Elijah Gilbert brings it home in 6th, and Gilbert was 10th of the 12 chase drivers. Was this enough to get him into the Elite 8? Great run for Ryan Brommer, Benny Watson there in 8th. I'll tell you what, Backmarker Motorsports had a heck of a run today team-wise. All 3 of their cars finishing in the top 10. They were all running up inside the top 5 at one point. Colby Jackson was already locked into the chase after a Chicagoland win, but still comes away with a solid outing here today in 9th. And Eli Bright finishes in the 10th position. Eli Bright came in 4th in points, so Eli will move on to the Elite 8 as well. Baranauskas finishes 11th. 12th place for Cole Deaver, came in 2nd in points, so I believe he's going to move into the Elite 8 as well. J Cesar in 13th, 14th for Matthew Daleo. Christian Merrick Jr. came in 11th in the point standings. He was a total of, I think it was 9 points behind James Shelly, 8th in the standings coming into this race, was 15th, enough to move him into the next round of the chase. Charlie Buxton, he came into this race tied for 4th, was 16th, enough to move him into the next round of the chase. We'll have to see. Rest of your other chase drivers, though, finishing pretty poorly. Joshua Osborne, I think he may not move on to the next round. 2-time winner this season, finishes 26th, so that may be one of the drivers we will not see move on to the next round of the chase. A Garcia, another possibility. He only came into this race 16 points ahead of that cut line, and he finishes out of the race in 31st. And then also Jesse Turner out of the race in 37th. Now, he came into this race 3rd in points. Don't know if he fell far enough down in the points to fall below that 8th in the standings cut line. We'll have to wait and see, but I would have to maybe wager an educated guess that we may not see Joshua Osborne, Ace Garcia, or Jesse Turner in the next round of the chase. And Jordan Lopes finished back in the 29th spot, and he was just barely ahead of the cut line too. So it's going to be really, really close. And the last couple of times I've been saying, I'm pretty certain this person, I'm pretty certain this person, it usually hasn't worked out that way because I haven't been able to factor in my head the stage points that were accumulated as well during the course of a race. So I'm not going to say that anyone is eliminated, definitely, and anyone has moved on, definitely, with the exception of Colby Jackson and James Shelly, because they both have got wins in this round that move them into the next round of the chase for the championship. So we pack it up here today. We are now down from 12 to 8, moving on to the next round of the chase for the championship, which will consist of the dirt track of Oswego, the super speedway of Zenjoltis, and then another super speedway in Talladega Super Speedway. We will see you guys, I believe, next week. Yes, we are going to be having Pizza Hut X Series race next week at Oswego, along with Hershey's Cup Series competition. So be sure to tune in for that, and be sure to tune in tomorrow, because we are going to whittle it down from 16 to 12 chase drivers in the Hershey's Cup Series chase for the championship. And today is an indication, oh boy, that's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you all for tuning in to today's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew. Today we've shown your full finish results. These are your point standings. You can see who the drivers were that are going to move on to the next round of the chase for the championship. Shelly, Jackson, and 6 others. Who are they? I don't know. I can't see. You're seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm going to find out later on, and we will be seeing now. You will know also who the 4 drivers were that were eliminated from the chase up to this point. Point stands will be reformatted in next week's race, so we're not going to show you the reformatted chase points right now. Anyway, though, that's going to do it here from Indianapolis today for the Pizza Hut X Series. We will see you guys tomorrow for the Hershey's Cup Series first elimination race of their chase for the championship, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA, Offline Racing at its best. So long, everybody.